Spinal muscular atrophy is the most common genetic cause of death in children under 2 years of age. It's a condition where nerve cells that service the muscles don't work properly, causing muscle weakness and wasting. During Book Week and Spinal Atrophy Awareness Month, the world's largest installation of Zack the Zebra has been launched. Zack is the leading character from a much-loved educational book, Zack's Playday, which encourages students to have greater empathy and acceptance of those living with lifelong disabilities. To discuss this, I'm now joined by Julie Cini, the CEO of Spinal Muscular Atrophy Australia. Julie, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Not a worry.
Firstly, can you take us through the condition itself?
Yeah, so spinal muscular atrophy is basically the childhood version of motor neurone disease, and it wastes away all the muscles you see, not only your arms and legs, but all your internal muscles like your breathing, your coughing and your swallowing.
And what are some of the symptoms that are received?
So a baby doesn't get out of newborn status, so their head is floppy, their muscles are really weak or like wet noodles, and they don't reach any milestones.
How prevalent is the condition in Australia?
It's a pretty rare disease. There's about 1 in 10,000 live births that are born with this condition each year. So we see through our association about 30 cases in Australia.
And how difficult is it for children who are living with the condition or a disability to fit in socially?
Sometimes it can be really hard. Obviously, you know, if you're in a wheelchair, you are seen or portrayed differently. So this book is really important to encourage inclusiveness for people not only in a wheelchair but with a disability, full stop. And that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, let's discuss this because, of course, it's part of National Book Week and Spinal Atrophy Awareness Month. Tell us a bit about this character in particular, Zack the Zebra. Why is it so significant for children living with the disease?
So Zack is obviously a zebra, and zebras are not common, so he's a good character to be able to portray the lead in this book. And he gets out there and he shows his friends that although he's in a wheelchair, he can do just as much as what they can. He's a great thinker, he's a great contributor to the storyline in the book.
The book itself is called Zack's Playday. What are its aims?
So its aims are trying to make sure that, you know, no matter what disability you have, you can be included in activities with your peers. It makes us look and make sure that even though you have a disability, you can be included. So inclusiveness and just breaking the stigma of those with a disability down and making them be able to have be part of society is much what we need, and to make sure that we can, you know, see that happen throughout this book.
How important is it to start a conversation about SMA?
Look, it's really important. 90% of families who are diagnosed with the disease have no previous family history. And if I spoke to you and asked you if you knew what motor neurone disease, you'd probably say, yes, I do, you know. But if I asked you the question if you knew what spinal muscular atrophy was, you'd probably say, I've never heard of it before. So, you know, just making sure that people are aware of those 3 letters, SMA or spinal muscular atrophy, and that, you know, it's really important for our future to have information and awareness and education around this disease. There's some really good treatments that are starting to come through which were never available before, and early detection of the disease will be key in treating families in the future.
And how challenging is it for parents and carers who have a loved one living with the disease?
Yeah, look, it's really frustrating. It's a chronic illness and it's something that lives with them every single day. I know myself, I've actually had 2 type 1 babies and who passed away, you know, at 10 and 12 months of age, and living with this disease is unbelievable. You don't know 1 minute whether your child is going to live or die, and, you know, for a family living that every single day is pretty debilitating and chronic.
Certainly would be very difficult. And just finally, how can people find out more?
So they can get onto our website, www.smaaustralia.org.au, and they can let us know that they'd like a copy sent to them, and we're more than happy to provide them a book for education in their school or library. We'd love to connect with them.
Well, it certainly is a wonderful book. The book itself is Zach's Playday. Julie Cini, thank you so much for your time and bringing us up to date with this condition this afternoon.
No worries.